Yeah, what's going on? Back in with another zombies video, and I'm gonna let you guys know right away that I'm gonna probably break the fourth wall, uh, in a lot of different ways. First things first, this video is gonna be kind of jumbled all over the place because there's a lot that's been going on in the zombies community with Vanguard Zombies and a lot of drama that's going on. And again, as you can see, the title is gonna be "Who's to blame for Vanguard Zombies or the state of Vanguard Zombies that it's at right now." And it's stuff that I've talked about on Twitter, kind of with the devs and Call of Duty themselves. Nothing personal, just on their Twitter feed and stuff like that with some of the devs. I'm not going to name any names because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. Not that they would get in trouble because it's just stuff that's public anyway, so it's nothing private or whatever. But so as you can probably tell if you follow along what's going on YouTube, a lot of the big channels, and usually they're the smoking gun or the ones that are to blame for a lot of stuff that's going on, especially in Black Ops 4, and a lot of people know that. It's no big secret that the big zombie YouTubers ruined Black Ops 4 by just having negative, toxic comments and videos. And that's what drives money for them. And it's something that actually came up recently from a viewer, is that they actually came across one of my old Kino Der Toten videos that talked about, and it's funny because it's almost 3 years since that was made, that it talks about zombie YouTubers. And right away it was something that I kind of caught on. And as you get older and wiser and more knowledgeable, that you kind of catch on to the little nuances that people have. And it kind of something that, again, like I said, I caught on years ago, like maybe even like a couple months after kind of really getting involved in the story and zombie YouTubers and the whole like zombie YouTube video content creations and stuff like that. Is a lot of these big channels, they're pretty bad, if not the worst, at solving Easter eggs. And it used to be back in the day where I guess in a way it was like a Ponzi scheme where the big channels sit up top, they make all the money, and the little guys, little channels underneath them are the ones force feeding them answers and content for them to make videos, and then they're the ones who ultimately cash in, and then everybody below them doesn't make any money, doesn't cash in. Like again, I said, this is gonna be jumbled and jump all over the place. So that's one thing, is that again, the big zombie YouTubers, the only thing that they know, and maybe why this Vanguard is in the state that they know, and it's something that eventually, kind of like what's happening now with Activision, they sweep stuff under the carpet, but eventually it's just gonna blow up in their face, kind of like what's going on with some other personal stuff with Activision. Is they're gonna have to eventually cut ties or disassociate themselves from these big content creators that all they do is make negative, toxic, hateful videos, and they'll never promote the game because they know if they promote the game, it's not going to get as many views as them making negative, toxic videos. And again, it's something that goes back to Black Ops 4, where more people were interested in like what was going on with Jason Blundell in Black Ops 4 and the office politics and stuff like that. And even you can go back even further, probably with Black Ops 2 with Jimmy and Jason Blundell. That like that's the stuff that unfortunately these big channels, because they're bad at solving stuff, they're bad at the game, they're bad at like a lot of different things. They're bad at multiplayer. They were bad at Blackout. They're bad at Battle Royale. They're bad at Warzone. Uh, they're bad at probably even Dead Ops Arcade. That they can no longer make or fake it. I don't know that's a saying to you, either make it or fake it. They can no longer fake that they're good at zombies. Now they have to kind of look and cash in other ways, and that other way is making toxic, vile videos and negative, toxic videos. So that's one thing, or like who's to blame. Uh, and I'm not gonna let them off the hook, but some of these devs also are to blame, because you go on Twitter and a lot of these devs are friends with these big, toxic, negative um, YouTubers that, unfortunately, I know the office politics. Nobody wants to lose their job. Now, part of your job descriptions probably you have to like kiss the butts of these big zombie YouTubers that you have to kind of be friends with them because they're the one who make videos. But it doesn't make sense. But then on the other hand, like I said, and I literally will be jumping all over the place. I've worked for big companies too, and I know when you work for a company that if you hate that company that you work for, you love when people bash on that company. So it makes me wonder too, like what goes on at some of these studios for them to be friends with some of these toxic, negative zombie YouTubers. It makes me wonder like how much they really love or hate their job, because if you're friends with somebody that bashes the company that you work for, that means, and I know it's guilty by association, that means you also hate your job. And I know that was something that came up on Twitter, and I'm not going to name any names to anybody on the bus, about people being passionate about their job or not loving their job. I'm like, that can be debunked by who you're following or who you're friends with on YouTube. That if you're following these big zombie YouTubers that all they do is spread negative and toxic hate and videos, but then on the other hand, you're saying you love your job. You don't love your job if you follow and are friends with some of these big. I understand nobody wants to go home to their kids or wife and say, "Hey, I lost my job today because I stood up for myself." And that's exactly what would happen if some of these devs stood up to these big toxic, negative, vile, hateful YouTubers, that they would ultimately lose their job. Activision, Call of Duty, their bosses, the studio heads, gonna be like, "What are you doing? We need those people, to promote our games and stuff like that." Even though those people are promoting negative feedback and only promoting negative feedback towards the game, that they would lose their job, and that's something that I kind of noticed too. It's like it's almost like calling somebody's bluff. It's like if you say that you love your job and you care about your job and you're passionate about the game, and don't judge us if we hate the game. Don't judge us, because we still love making the game. That can easily be debunked by who you're friends with or who you're associated with. Let's say I was the boss or I was the owner of Activision, and you tell me that you love your job, you love working for here, but then you're friends with the people that um, spread negative, toxic hate about the game that you make, and stuff like that. And I know that's their ultimate goal. Is if you look at the stocks of Activision, it's down like $40 a share compared to probably like a year ago. And that's the power, unfortunately, that the mob mentality that people have, ironically, that they know if they if they spread hateful videos, that it's ultimately just gonna hurt Activision and stuff like that. Maybe Activision or Call of Duty didn't want to pay these YouTubers. Like, it's kind of like almost in a sense like extortion, that like, if you don't pay me this amount of money, I'm just gonna make hateful videos towards your company and stuff like that. So that makes me wonder too, like what really is going on behind closed doors, and who's to blame again for what's going on in Vanguard Zombies. That the game mode's not that bad. If you play it, you want to grind your weapons, camos, unlock challenges, unlock operator skins and stuff like that, you can have a good time. But the state of um, Vanguard looks a lot worse because it's all these big negative news channels and toxic YouTubers that are just spreading hate. So it makes me ask, and I'm curious what people are thinking, and I always tend to try and stay neutral, but it makes me wonder, like, what's really going on. Like, people are saying that they love their job, but then you're friends with like the hateful, toxic people that are making your job miserable. But on the other hand, I understand that, I'm not trying to pick sides. I'm trying to stay neutral. But I understand on the other hand, um, your bosses expect you to be friends and kiss the butt of these big channels. If you don't, you're probably gonna lose your job. If you stand up for yourself or your coworkers, and there's a lot that's going on right now, obviously at Activision, that like people are saying that they stand and support their coworkers and they want to walk out, but then like you're friends with people that are only hurting your game. Like, it doesn't make any sense, and you gotta have to kind of like read between the lines. And that's probably why, again, I'm best at solving a lot of these Easter eggs. It's like I can kind of see what's going on, I can read between the lines. So it makes me, again, and I appreciate everything that Call of Duty and Activision Treyarch has done. It's actually been a great experience. But then on the other hand, it's getting pretty bad. And again, it's stuff that I've talked about on Twitter, that you you see who they're friends with, but then on like they're either playing. I know they're trying to somewhat be diplomatic that like you wanna you don't want to lose your friends, but on the other hand, you don't want to lose your job. So it's a tough situation for a lot of the devs to be in. And then again, the stuff that's going on, the walkouts and stuff like that, like they're saying that they want to support their coworkers, but then like, are you really supporting your coworkers if you're supporting these toxic, negative, vile, hateful zombie YouTubers? Like, a lot of stuff doesn't make sense, and I know, and as far as like even how the zombie story is related, you might actually drive yourself nuts trying to like go down the rabbit hole and try and figure out like what's going on. Again, if you try and figure out um, why are they friends with these negative, toxic, hateful YouTubers, um, but on the other hand, they can't stand up for their selves and their jobs, because unless you have another job lined up and you just kind of dump on the company that you work for because it doesn't matter, you're going somewhere else after that. But on the other hand, you don't want to, um, ruin yourself in the industry and stuff like that. But it just makes me puzzling. It's just a couple things that I wanted to talk about right away. Sorry, I just drank something and I needed to burp. So, um, but it makes me wonder, and it's just a couple things I want to touch on right away, and see what people are thinking. Who you think's to blame, because everything that's in Vanguard is what people have asked for too. They're like, when we teleport, like I know you used to be able to teleport in Cold War. People used to say, hey, you should let us stay in the dark ether. Don't send us back. Now you have the chance for some of the maps to stay in the dark ether, let's say, and not get teleported. So that's something that people asked for. So who's to blame for that? People are saying, well, they don't like how you teleport to areas, it's small little areas, but that's what people asked for in Cold War. People don't want pack-a-punch camos. All right, so they don't get pack-a-punch camos, and they're complaining about that. So I don't know if you think like how I think, and you see everything that goes on. I know some people can only see one thing, but when you see the big picture of like, people are complaining about this, so they give it to them. Then they complain that they're the other half or another percent is complaining about something else. Like I said, they complained about pack-a-punch camos. Okay, so in Vanguard, you're not getting pack-a-punch camos. And then they complain that there's no pack-a-punch camo. People complain that like when you went to the dark ether, you got teleported back in like a minute or 30 seconds or 90 seconds, whatever. All right, so now you have the option to stay in the dark ether and not get teleported back. Now they're complaining about that. People complain that they don't want round based anymore. They want like bigger, wide open maps and stuff like that. Open world zombies. You got open world zombies, and people are complaining about that. Again, these are just some really quick things that I want to touch on, and let me know what basically side of the fence you're on. I'm trying to stay on the fence, and like I said, I see that people are saying that they love their jobs, they love working for Treyarch, but then you're friends with a lot of the vile, toxic people that ruin zombies and make your job miserable. Again, like I said, I've also worked for big companies that I didn't like, and when I saw people bash it, like on, Google or or whatever website, maybe like Career Builder or Indeed, you kind of love that in a way. You love to see that people bash on the company that you hate. So it's like you kind of almost see too much, and sometimes you almost want to stay naive. And it also reminds me about the Matrix, how like sometimes you don't. Some people just want to take that pill that you just want to stay naive. You don't want to see everything. People just want to believe what they want to believe. Again, with the big zombie YouTubers, is people want to believe that the channels that they love, they're the best people. And I know it's just a numbers thing. It's all about like if they have 5 million subs, people are gonna love them for whatever reason. But if they have like 50 subs, people are gonna hate them. It's just a numbers thing to a point. So I hope this made sense. I'll see you guys later.